Hello, my name is Sarah. Welcome to the It is a Sarah podcast. Today it is Monday, March 11, 2024, and this is episode 131. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. I love to knit, I love to crochet, and I love to talk, so that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. I make my episodes in Dutch and in English, so be sure you pick the right one. Okay, today I want to share my handwerk perikelen, my crafty adventures with you. I have something to tell about what I'm wearing. I have a very cute finished object and some other tiny things. But before I will start talking about that, I must confess that it's actually not Monday today. It is Saturday morning. And I'm filming this already because on Monday, normally I make my whole episode on Monday. I do the filming, the editing and the uploading on the same day. And it's always quite a bit, not stressful, but hard work to have it online on time. But today, this Monday, I have a knitting trip. I'm on trip with a few knitting friends, and I'm not able to film a podcast on Monday. So I really want to share all my things, so I thought let's do it on Saturday. So I feel very organized and on time right now. Okay. What I'm wearing my Tolsta tee. It's the pattern from Rebecca from the Crafty podcast from last summer, early summer, late spring. It is a summer garment. The Tolsta tee is meant as a t-shirt. It's quite knitted with quite a loose gauge, and I did a test knit by then for Rebecca. It's a DK weight garment. I must confess, Tolsta and we are not really in love. I didn't wear the Tolsta tee last summer as much as I thought. And I think it's a bit of a combination of things. The loose gauge is a little bit against my feelings. I am a loose knitter myself already, so I'm always trying to avoid a too loose gauge. And I absolutely understand why some designers choose to use a looser gauge, because you get a more airy, more flowy, drapable fabric, and that's perfect for summer garments. But it was a bit confusing for me because it was meant to knit loose, and yeah, my natural feeling said no, not too loose. The point of knitting it quite loose was when I was wearing it on my hinterland dresses, because the fabric is so drapey, you could see the buttons under it, and it was not nice. I knitted it quite cropped, and it was too cropped to wear on my linen skirts. There was a little bit space left, and I'm a 42. No, I'm not 42. How old am I? 40. I am 42. Oh, that's confusing. I am 42. That's too much space for a 42-year-old lady. No, that's not true. If there are 42-year-old old ladies who really want to wear short sleeves with showing their belly, I have absolutely no problem with it. But it's not for me. It was actually never really my taste. I never felt comfortable by that style, but it has nothing to do with age. It's personal. But I couldn't wear it on my skirts. I also didn't like to wear it on my dresses, so I didn't wear it at all. But now I have a new dress. I made this dress at the end of 2023, and it's also a hinterland dress, but with no buttons. And I also must say, the combination of this beautiful red tiger eye color and the checkered fabric is hard jumping for me. So I think we are dating again. So maybe it will end in a steady relationship. We shall see. But I feel nice in it for a few hours already. And mostly when I'm not feeling good in a combination or in a garment, I feel it immediately, and I want to change it for something else. And sometimes it's always the garment, sometimes it's my mood, it can change, but today we are good. so I'm happy. I knitted it with a sock yarn from a Dutch indie dyer, Atelier Lindelicht, and it is a combination of wool and nettle and silk. And in the color Red Tiger, I also added a woolly tattoo. Yeah, I'm feeling good in it today. Okay, I also have another test knit on my needles right now for Rebecca. I won't deep dive in it, but I just want to show you my progress, because my main focus was supposed to be on that one, because it's a test knit. The deadline is the 20th of March, so I have more than enough time to finish it. And I did make some progress. I did all the hard parts. I connected the back and the front, and I added the ribbing at the neckline and the armholes. And the only thing I have to do now is just knit the body and the ribbing at the bottom. And it's really a lovely project. I love working on it. It needs a good blocking bath, because the cables, they must stretch out, and it's hanging a bit wobbly on the nail right now, but every time I do a quick fit, I feel good in it. And I have some doubts about some things, but mainly about the ribbing, if I maybe did make it a little bit too deep. But I decided I will decide when it's blocked and all ready. So and the cable, there are a lot of cables in this pattern, but they are not hard. I can knit them without a cable needle. And now it's a few rounds of just knit the stitches as they come, and one round of cabling and you need a little bit more focus there, but not much. And it's the perfect knitting project to bring with you, and I can do it while watching television or chatting or whatever. So that's perfect. So I really would love to finish it this week. I don't know if I think I can make it, but I'm not sure. But I lost my focus on this project, because another project was quite close to being finished, and I really love that. I finished the sweater for my little niece. My little niece, she turns 3 this month, and I love knitting sweaters for her for several reasons. One of the reasons is definitely that a toddler sweater is finished much sooner than an adult sweater. And my own children, they have they are teenagers, they have the same size as I have, and they love a little bit of oversized things. So that's more time consuming. But also my sister is very knit-worthy. I hate that word. No, I hate not the word. I hate to pronounce that word. Knit-worthy. I'm sorry. She loves everything I make, but also my little niece, she loves wearing it. So and she is a little lady, which is really who is really getting her own taste. So it gets a little bit more exciting. My mother made her. Maybe I already told that story. I don't know. My mother made her knitted her a purple lilac cardigan. And she was telling it to her, Granny is knitting a cardigan for you. And the little girl said, I don't want a pink cardigan. And my mother said, oh, luckily it is lilac. And she said, I don't want a lilac cardigan. And she's wearing it anyway, so she didn't mean what she said, but she knows what she wants. And I like that, but not when she doesn't like the knitting. Then so I did my best to make something she would like. It's very sweet. And let me start telling a little bit about the yarn. I have this basket with a lot of sock yarn. It is all long yarn chavol. And some of them are just long yarn chavol, and some of them are long yarn chavol silk. and they were all gifted to me by Lang Yarns in the time I worked for them. A few years ago I made pictures for the Dutch social media for Lang Yarns, and every now and then I received a big box of yarn, and I was allowed to keep all the yarn if I wanted to. And although all those sweet colors, there are mainly sweet colors, I would never chose them in store, I guess, but I did like them. I'm really a brown lover, but I love colors also. So it was there always, and I was not really. I think the Lang Yarn wool is a little bit too thin for me to make nice socks, because I'm already a loose knitter. Yeah, it was just waiting, and I decided a few weeks ago that I want to crochet a little poncho for my niece. I did crochet a lot of ponchos with a granny stitch when my girls were little, and I totally forgot that. But when I was at a knitting event, a knitting day a few weeks ago, I was sitting next to an older lady and she was crocheting a poncho for a little girl. And suddenly I reminded that that was my thing too. And I really love doing that because it's the granny stitch and all the colors. So I thought, my girls don't wear ponchos anymore, but my niece, I think a poncho is a perfect layer for those in-between weather. So I decided I would make her a poncho. So I was organizing my yarn. Every skein I divided in 2 equal balls, so I could crochet with the yarn held double. But the poncho never happened. It still will happen someday. But suddenly I was knitting a sweater. All the colors, I thought, oh, this would be a lovely sweater. And my niece loves to wear knitted sweaters. And I knitted her a novice sweater quite sometimes. The Novice Sweater Junior, it's by Petite Knit, but that has a round yoke. And I didn't want to make a round stripy yoke. And I prefer a raglan more. So I was looking for a good raglan pattern, and I found the Monday Sweater Junior by Petite Knit. I love the Petite Knit patterns. They are really popular. I think they are quite often really easy and plain. Yeah, I don't know. I just love it. So especially I didn't knit a lot of Petite Knit things for myself. Never. Oh yeah, my Sunday cardigan, of course. That's the only one, I think. But for the little ones, I really love it. So I bought that pattern and I started the sweater, and it was a lovely project. It was perfect, and I will show it in a minute, but I added a little detail which makes it really sweet, and I want to keep it as a little bit of a surprise so I can have a ta-da moment. So I begin with the talking and the explaining. I did use this color, and I paired it together with, did I put it in my project bag? Oh yeah. I decided to go for a marled sweater, and this is one tint darker, one shade darker. I used the lighter one, but I knitted it all away. It's all in the sweater, but I started with this color combination. It's a DK weight, so I held it double, and when I ran out of that pink orange color, I added a green one, and there were a lot of color combinations possible. I also paired the green one with the white, so it's all marled, and I really think this is a good springy color combination. I was thinking about adding more colors and more stripes, and I really think that's an option, but for this one it felt really good to just knit away one color out of my stash, and yeah, I really love the end result. Okay, here it is. It is. I think it's dry now. I put it in the sun because the drying process was not as fast as I wanted it to be. This is the back. This pattern has short rows, and I think it will improve the fit. I didn't fit it on my knees yet, but it looks very good. As I said, I started with knitting the short rows and then the raglan yoke, and then I split it for the sleeves, and I only knit 1 centimeter, and then I finished the sleeves at first, and it's always the way I prefer, but for now it was really important that I could see how much I would need for the color, but I had still a little bit left, so I could add a little bit more, and then I added the green. So it's really a color block sweater, really easy and simple. And I was thinking about adding some embroidery. It is at the front, so you already know right now, but let me do a little introduction. When my youngest girl was really a little girl, she was 4 years old, I guess, my mother-in-law knitted her a dress. It was also a plain dress, very easy, one color, and I added a woolly tattoo at the front, and it was really adorable. And this sweater made me think of that dress, and I thought, okay, that would be lovely. But when the sweater was finished, I had my doubts. Oh, and there was also someone leaving a comment somewhere on Instagram or YouTube, I don't know, but that was also what I felt. And someone said, oh, it would be lovely to add some a woolly tattoo. And I thought, okay, yeah, that was what I was thinking, so let's do it. But when the sweater was finished, I wasn't sure. I loved the simplicity of the sweater, and I asked my sister and my eldest girl, and they both said, you must add flowers, it would be so lovely. So I did add some flowers. Ta-da! And I don't know why I was doubting about it, because it is really adorable. I tried to keep it very simple, because I think the simplicity of this sweater is the power of the sweater. But what I did is I just added 3 simple flowers. I didn't use a pattern. I can do it by head. I know some embroidery stitches. I'm not an advanced embroiderer, but I can do this. And embroidering for me is a little bit like drawing. It is absolutely an activity I don't want to be my Miss Perfect involved, because then it's not fun anymore. And she's not interested in embroidering the flower. So I can always do it without my perfectionism, and that's really fun and also nice, because the sweater is quite straight. I was really doing the measurement. I wanted this flower in the middle and an equal distance between, and I really did some measuring and used stitch markers to mark the right place, but the distance is not equal. So I don't know how that happened, but it's not a problem, because Miss Perfect she doesn't know, she doesn't care, so why should I care? The difference is 0.5 centimeter, I think. So I just knitted a stitch and add some leaves and then add the flower, and it's really lovely and adorable. So yeah, it was hard jumping to do, and I think the look is hard jumping. I must confess, the color of the sweater is hard to get on camera, because it looks a little bit, it's more brighter in real life, so I don't know why it's happening. It's the pink is a little bit pale, and also, yeah, all the colors are looking a little bit pale. Maybe I am looking a little bit pale too, but it's actually a little bit more bright in real life. Maybe I can catch it when I make pictures outside with my little niece in it. We shall try. But it was really a hard jumping project. It's a top-down sweater, so you start knitting. I started with a 3mm needle. It's a DK weight yarn, and I held my yarn double. I didn't swatch, because I thought, a raglan sweater for a toddler, who cares? And when I think it's too tight, I can always do some extra raglan stitches or skip some if it's too loose. But I think my row gauge was pretty uncure, because yeah, I exactly followed the pattern. I didn't have to add extra centimeters or whatever, and the fit looks good. So I think I can absolutely recommend this pattern, but I didn't fit it on the girl, so I will update you on that. But I knitted size 3 to 4 years. She will turn 3 at the end of this month, and yeah, I really hope she can wear it now, because it's the perfect spring weather for colder spring days or colder summer evenings. But it would also be lovely if she still can wear it when it's autumn or maybe even winter. I cast it on with a 3mm needle. You knit the neckband, and then you fold a double and you knit them together. And you don't do that with every stitch, but every other stitch. And that was new to me, and that makes it more stretchy, so that's nice. Then you do the short row part. I went to a 3.5mm needle. 4mm is suggested, but I'm a loose knitter, so I always go down 1 needle size or half a needle size. So 3.5 was perfect for me. Yeah, then I split it for the sleeves. The sleeves I did knit with a 4mm needle, because the smaller circumference, I always knit a little bit tighter on that. So I always go up half a needle size. Oh no, it is a needle size, but half a cent. I don't know how you say it. You know what I mean. I knitted them with 4mm needles. And I had a little bit of a struggle with the bottom ribbing. Knit one, purl one is just not my talent. They are always looking messy. For example, this is knitted on a loose gauge. The stitches are dancing, and I love dancing, but not my knit stitches. Yeah, so it's always a bit of a struggle, and it was not really obvious on the sleeves or on the neckband, but here it was really messy. So I did go down some needle sizes, and then yeah, I'm not really satisfied, but it's also okay. So maybe next time I would do a knit 2, purl 2, because I can hide my dancing stitches more when I do that. I forgot to tell in my Dutch episode, but I also did some decreases before I started the ribbing. That was not what the pattern said, but I love when I don't do that. Quite often my ribbing flares out, so I knitted every 10th stitch together without counting, and it was just enough. Yeah, the sock yarn with the silk in it is feeling really nice and soft. I hope she can wear it on her bare skin. It's not merino yarn, but it feels really good. And it knitted up quite nicely. It's nice yarn to work with. It is a superwash yarn. I don't know how it will hold up, if it will peel a lot, but for now it feels really nice and really good. It was also a very fun knit. I really loved knitting it. The pattern is, when you are really a beginner knitter, maybe the short rows can be a little bit challenging, but yeah, when you just follow the pattern it will work out too. But the fit of it definitely improved the fit, the short rows, because the flex sweater, you can add short rows there too, but it's not in the basic pattern, I guess. The fit, yeah, the short rows really improved the fit. But what's so fun is on this pattern, the fun of this pattern is that there's happening something most of the time. You have the raglan, in the sleeves you have the decreases. Yeah, the body is just straight. And because the size is not so big, yeah, it is not a boring knit, it's just fun. And yeah, I really loved it. And I really can imagine that I will make a lot more of this Monday sweaters, because I can see a stripy one and also a scrappy one, and yeah, all the options. And also my girls, they both said, oh, we love this sweater too. So it would also be fun. Maybe I will buy the adult pattern too once. But I can also imagine that you knit the sweater and you do some texture at the bottom. You can play with this pattern. That is very nice. So lovely sweater, and I hope she will like it. But I loved working on it, and the result is heart jumping to me. So that's all I want for now. Yeah, and I know the risk. When you are knitting for someone else, and when it's a toddler, it can be she doesn't want to wear it, but it's okay. It's okay. Someone will wear it one day, and I hope it will be her. Okay, my basket with all the scraps of sock yarn, yeah, not really scraps, also reminded me of a pattern in this book, I try to spend less time online searching for inspiration. So not Instagram, not Ravelry. I still do it, but I try to decrease the time. Decrease is not the word in this context, but you know what I mean. I try to spend less time on it because I want to use more of what I have. And more and more, when I'm having a cup of coffee, I pick my books, my knitting books, to check. Every time I see this pattern, the Pinwheel Socks by Summer Lee, every time I see this pattern, I think of my basket with sock yarn in all the sweet colors. So maybe I think this would be a perfect spring or summer work for one of my girls in those colors. I would love to have a pair of socks myself, but more in darker colors. But in those soft spring colors, I would love to make it for them. So that's nice. So maybe it will happen once. I really feel the need to knit all the spring things when the temperature is rising and the sun is shining. But I really want to finish my projects, my works in progress first. So we will work on that. And one of that is another pair of socks, not really in a spring color, dark brown, but it is my color. Those socks, this yarn is from a Dutch dyer, Atelier Sopra, and the yarn was gifted to me by my kids 18 months ago for my birthday. And I did start another sock with the brio stitch, but I wasn't really, it was a little bit too loose, and I started over again. And I want to make a pair of really plain socks, and it's a bit, I don't know if it's hard jumping yet. Yeah, I do know. It's not hard jumping yet, because when it's hard jumping, you know. But I think it can be hard jumping. The twisted rib is, I think it's looking nice in this yarn, but it's also a little bit boring. But I think sometimes the power of a knitting piece can be the simplicity. And when I put it on my foot now, I think, is it a little bit boring? Shouldn't I make cables or another textured pattern, which is a little bit more attractive? But at my feet, I really love those simple, basic patterns. And my plan is to knit up all this yarn for a long leg, so I can have a bit of slouchy socks, and I think it will look really nice. But I think the hard jumping feeling only comes when the leg is there. So I only have to knit it. So I decided that I will finish this sock, and when it's still not hard jumping, I can always decide to use it for another pattern. But maybe it will work out the way as I hope. So yeah, this is my, I'm knitting on 2mm needles. I always knitted my socks on 2.25, but one of my knitting friends always said that she's also a loose knitter, and she always says she knits on 2mm needles, and she's really happy with that. Her socks are more steady and looking better. So I thought maybe I should give it a try, and it is looking better. But I don't really love knitting with 2mm needles. The feeling of it, maybe I just have to get used. Yeah, I don't know. It's not the rhythm. It's maybe also the twisted rib. I don't know. Normally socks are really a rhythmic knitting, and the rhythm is not there yet. But maybe I only work on them every now and then. Maybe they need some more attention. Okay, that was it for today. There are a lot of other projects on my needles, but I will share more about them another time. This week's focus will be again on the Lauder Vest, and making progress on all the projects and finishing as much as possible. I love having a lot of projects on my needles. Last week I was a little bit overwhelmed because I was very busy, and then it didn't feel good. But I had a lot of compensating knitting time, and then it was okay. It was balanced again. But I also love finishing something. So even though I feel the need to cast on spring things, I also have the discipline to finish projects first, because I love that process. So I will focus the coming 2 weeks on finishing as much as possible, and then I can do another cast on party. So I think that works best for me. So I will work on that, and I will enjoy my knitting trip. I wish you a very good week. I hope you have a lot of heart jumping moments, and if you can't find them, create them. Thank you for watching, and till next time. Bye!